We now move on to basic image processing and analysis. And in this exercise, we will demonstrate cropping of the brain from a whole body PET examination and then saving that image. Such a workflow is common when you're using existing patient data for a retrospective study. In PMOD version 4.1, cropping has been incorporated as part of the workflow in the View tool. Cropping using VOIs, such as cubes, can also be convenient. So for now, we move to the View tool. If necessary from the previous exercises, clear the workspace, then return to the DB Load tab, and we should search for the subject PSEG2. We can use the filter and enter PS and enter to update. Then we see our subject PSEG2 PET-CT, which is a whole body tumor example. On the Series tab, we can see the available series. For now, we should select the PET-3D, which is the whole body PET. Add that to the loading list and open. Again, we see our image in 3 orthogonal planes. We can see that the brain has particularly high uptake, as well as bladder, the heart, and a number of lesions in the image. As usual, the MIP display, particularly with an inverted color table, can help us to see the general distribution throughout the data. There is a dedicated workflow for image cropping in the lower right of the View tab. We will crop the brain from the image so that it can be used more effectively in batch processing later on. Check the crop box and check that the species selection is set to human. An appropriate size crop box is displayed in yellow, centered on the cursor. The center point can be adjusted by triangulating a new point in the image display. In this case, we'll center on the brain. And then the box size can be adjusted using the arrows in the crop workflow dialog. Now that we've centered the box on the brain, we can adjust the box size to 200 by 250 by 200 millimeters. This can be quickly done using the arrow keys, observing the effect in the image display. So now we have the yellow box closely cropped around the brain and well centered. Then cropping can be performed when the workflow is followed to the VOIs page, or it can be applied using the crop icon in the top right corner of the cropping workflow box. For now, I'd like to apply cropping using that crop icon. We're warned that this will replace our data in the workspace. That's okay. And then when cropping is applied, we see the image zoom in onto what is left after cropping away the rest of the body. Now I can deactivate that crop checkbox in the cropping workflow and consider saving my image. So the cropped image can be saved in any supported format. For now, I want to save it back to the database. On the right-hand side, you see the shortcut for Save with various formats available in the menu. And at the moment, Database is already active. This brings up the Save to Database dialog that we saw in an earlier exercise. Here it's useful to edit the DICOM header. For example, in the series description, I can add in square brackets that this is a crop of the brain. I then confirm and save my data to the database, and I get a confirmation message. As you saw, other formats can be selected as well. So a common format for processing in tools like SPM is Nifty. So I can also use the Save menu to select Nifty directly. A slightly different Save dialog is opened where I should choose the folder that I want to save to and then enter a save name. Additionally, the transfer syntax is important for non-DICOM formats. PMOD tests the data to determine whether the pixel values will lose precision if you use a particular syntax. A yellow warning icon will be displayed on the left-hand side if precision will be lost, and otherwise this message transfer syntax validated is displayed. If in doubt, use the float little endian option. To navigate to a folder where you want to save the example data, in this case, in the home directory of my pmod installation, I have a tests folder, and I can enter the name that this comes from, the pseg2 example crop, and then save my data. Again, we get a save confirmation message.